Told you to do some crazy stuff. And you're like, why do I have to do that? Because God is testing your obedience. Is your allegiance to God first and foremost? Because before he ever gives you the man, he has to make sure that you know how to hear his voice. Calling you to your word because he needs you to hear his voice. God is calling you to prayer because he needs to teach you how to listen to him. Fasting, the same exact reason. Your kingdom marriage will be different. Many of you have been like, Alice, why is it taking so long? Why is God not sending my kingdom partner? And I want to tell y'all that y'all are set apart. You were different. If you watch the video that I did this week about Samuel, you'll hear how I talked about Hannah and how Hannah had to wait a while and she was tormented by people. She was laughed. You got to look at Jesus, the life of Jesus. When he was on that cross, people were laughing at him and they thought he was defeated. You have to look at the life of David, where David was using a slingshot, where he was just like, I'm going to use the little 3 rocks that God had given me, and it looked foolish. There were many people who were in the Bible. John the Baptist was crying out, eating locusts, all types of stuff. That sounds crazy. It looks crazy. But one thing that I understand about God is that God is able to do the impossible in certain situations with people's lives. And so when it comes to you, he is not forgotten about you. The Bible talks about how God is not slack concerning his promises. And I think about it. One of the things that God told me to do, and I've told y'all this before, is God told me to start buying stuff for an apartment that I still didn't have. Like, God was telling me to do crazy stuff. And I was just like, God, that don't make sense. But if you're telling me, I'll be obedient. And some of you, God has told you to do some crazy stuff. And you're like, why do I have to do that? Because God is testing your obedience. Is your allegiance to God first and foremost? Because before he ever gives you the man, he has to make sure that you know how to hear his voice. Come here, Bible, Genesis. Adam walked with God. So he knew the voice of God. He knew the voice of God. And so no matter what, God knew that he would be able to talk to Adam, and Adam would know who was talking. And many of you, God is calling you to your word because he needs you to hear his voice. God is calling you to prayer because he needs to teach you how to listen to him. Fasting, the same exact reason. And so scripture says, because I told y'all that your kingdom marriage will be set apart, Acts 13:22 says, and when he had removed him, he raised up unto them David to be their king. First and foremost, I want you to know that the people who have been taking your spot, who have been placeholders, because baby, that's all they were placeholders, they are now being removed so God can raise you up. But that required you to first be set apart. And so it says David to be their king. God has elected you. And so it says, to whom he also gave their testimony and said, I have found David, the son of Jesse, a man after thine own heart, which shall fulfill all my will. God is allowing you to take your rightful place because he knows that you are a man, you are a woman who is after his heart, who wants to see God be glorified. And so God says, I'm going to honor you. I'm going to honor your marriage. And the way that I am going to do it is by appointing you to the position of it. And so understand that it is the will of God. And so because it is the will of God, you will have the backing of God. And so get ready. Get ready. Y'all know, I said it before, here comes the bride. Here comes the bride. But what is our song on this page? I always tell y'all, we're getting married. We're getting married. You're a kingdom wife. You're a kingdom husband. You're getting married. You're getting married. Y'all better catch that. Like, and you better sing it. You better sing it until you can't sing it no more. You're getting married. Like, declare that thing. I don't care what you see around there. I don't care what you see. You better declare what God is saying. So I love you all. I'm always praying for you. Guys, trust God. Let me do this because I always almost forget. Declarations. I want y'all to write, my marriage is set apart. Declare it. Your marriage is set apart. I am set apart. My husband is set apart. Your wife, meaning for the men, is set apart. Why? Because God has a purpose and a plan for your life, and I don't care. The enemy will not thwart the plan of God for your life. The devil is a liar. He can't get in between. Why? Because it is a foundation that is going to be built on God. How do you start it? You start it now. You consecrate yourself now. You pray now. You live for God now, even before the marriage. And that's how God will know that he can trust you and that he can give it to you. So until next time, y'all, I love you. God bless you. Bye.
Perfect.